Welcome to AI TV News. A major trade dispute is flaring up between Canada and the United States over a brand new Canadian levy. On Friday, United States President Donald Trump abruptly ended all trade talks with Ottawa and threatened fresh tariffs, calling Canada's digital services tax a direct and blatant attack on our country. So, what exactly is this tax, and why has it set off such a diplomatic firestorm? Canada's Digital Services Tax, DST for short, is a 3% charge on the revenue that large companies earn from Canadian users of certain online services. Think digital ads on Facebook or Google, sales on Amazon's marketplace, subscriptions on a streaming platform, or money made from selling user data. Crucially, the tax is applied to gross revenue, not to profit, and it only kicks in for companies that make at least 750 million euros worldwide and more than 20 million Canadian dollars in Canada. In practice, that list is almost entirely American tech giants. One feature has the tech sector and Washington even more upset. It's retroactive. The levy covers revenue dating back to January 2022. The first payment, covering 2022 through the end of 2024, is due June 30th, 2025, and United States firms are expected to shoulder roughly 90% of the $2 billion bill. Why is Canada doing this? Ottawa argues that digital titans can reap vast sums from Canadian users while booking most of their profits in low-tax jurisdictions abroad. Without a physical footprint in Canada, these companies have paid comparatively little in Canadian corporate tax. The DST, the government says, simply levels the playing field for domestic businesses and brings tax rules into the age of e-commerce. Canada would have preferred a global solution. For years, 140 countries at the OECD have tried to craft a uniform digital tax framework, but negotiations keep stalling. After yet another delay last year, Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne said Canada would no longer wait indefinitely and pressed ahead. Washington sees it very differently. The White House and a rare bipartisan coalition in Congress say the DST discriminates against United States firms because almost no Canadian or European company meets the revenue thresholds. Moments after President Trump's online broadside, the United States Trade Representative warned of retaliatory tariffs within a week unless Ottawa backs down. That threat lands at a delicate moment. The United States is Canada's largest trading partner, with more than $760 billion in goods and services flowing across the border last year. Even a narrow tariff war, say on aluminum, lumber, or autos, could ripple through supply chains and household budgets on both sides. Business groups are already bracing for impact. Google has started tacking a surcharge onto Canadian ad buys to cover the DST. E-commerce sellers fear higher fees on their platforms will be passed down to consumers. Canadian retailers, meanwhile, worry that any new United States tariffs could prompt layoffs and price hikes just as inflation is starting to cool. Prime Minister Mark Carney's office says Ottawa remains ready to negotiate, but insists the tax is neutral and fully compliant with international trade rules. Still, with the first DST payment clock ticking and Washington digging in, neither side shows signs of blinking. To recap, Canada's new 3% digital tax aims to make tech giants pay more tax where their users live. Because it hits United States companies hardest and does so retroactively, President Trump has frozen trade talks and is threatening new tariffs, escalating one of the most significant rifts in modern Canada-United States economic relations. We'll keep tracking the fallout.